Race one of round number 7 about to get underway here in Barcelona for the 2020 Euroformula Open. Welcome everyone, my name is Chris McCarthy. Thank you very much for tuning in. We are closing in now towards the end of the season. This the final weekend, a double header, round 7 taking place today, and round number 8 of the championship will take place tomorrow. So 4 races coming up for you in total, and we should have dry conditions all weekend. The weather has been very kind to us so far this weekend. Mid-20 degrees we had yesterday, a little bit cooler today, but should warm up for our second race a little bit later on, which will be at 4:05. Cars are just making their way out onto the circuit to head round to the grid, where they will form up. And after that, when we get going, we will have an 18-lap race, 35-minute cutoff should we need it, if we have safety cars and so on. But drivers just heading out there now to get their sighting lap done, and then they will be stopped on the grid, ready to go. Qualifying for this race took place yesterday, so we had 2 qualifying sessions yesterday. Then we had the 3rd qualifying session of the weekend this morning. The 4th qualifying session will take place tomorrow morning. In terms of the championship, well, the situation is this. In the championship, we have 18 races. 3 of those races get dropped at the end of the season. If we were to take the 3 worst scores for each driver now, according to my maths, Ye sits on 264, Dunner on 202, so a 62-point gap there, meaning Ye could wrap up the title today. He will need about a 52-point advantage going into tomorrow. The point system, you get 25 points for a win, and you get a point for pole position and for fastest lap as well. So for each race, 27 points are available if you can have a perfect run. So Ye has a very good chance of doing that. He's taken 3 pole positions already this weekend. He is going to start at the head of the field. If he has a good week, if he has a good day today and beats Dunner in both races, he should unofficially crown himself the champion. All, of course, we'll wait till we get to the very end of the season before we call it official. And there he is, making his way round to the grid. There's a good battle going on for 3rd. Essner, Andreas that is, he's on 135 points. He sits in 3rd place at the moment. This with the drop scores taking place. Cruton on 124, Cohen on 109, Maldonado on 107, leaving a 28-point gap there between 4 drivers, all in that fight for 3rd position. And believe me, they are all in it with the grids as they are. So there you can see the grid looking nice and busy now. We've got cars on there, which is good to see. There's Zayn Maloney. He could do with a good weekend. Things just didn't go his way at all at Spa. Had a weekend to forget, but let's see if he can turn things around this weekend and end as he started, really. He started the season fantastically. Let's see if he can end it that way. Here's Manuel Maldonado on your screens now, making his way through turn number 10 and round to the grid. Provided some entertainment for us, not like we needed any, because Spa was by far the best weekend of the season, and race number 2 at Spa, the best race of the season. But in that, Maldonado provided some moves where there shouldn't have been some, and let's see if he can do the same this weekend. He, in this race, will line up on 5th place on the grid, so a good qualifying for him. Maldonado having a good run recently. He took his 3rd podium of the season last time out. When he finishes on the podium, he tends to finish 2nd. He's had 3 of those so far, 2 of those coming at the Red Bull Ring, and then he ended the weekend at Spa on a real positive, taking a 2nd place finish. Let's see if he can do the same then. Maldonado just pulling up into that 5th place spot. He's got a chance of a podium today, but he's got 4 drivers ahead of him who will want to fill those podium. Sadly, there's only 3 spaces on it, as I can see Ido Cohen making his way towards the grid. Unusually, he's going to be starting outside of the top 10. Let's go through the grid though. Here is Ye. He's going to start on pole position. He's had a fantastic season so far as Ye. 12 pole positions for him now in total. This one that he took was his 10th yesterday. The man 62 points behind him on drop scores is Lucas Dunner. Had a fantastic season, looking for his 6th win of 2020 in the Euroformula Open. He's only been off the podium once, A man looking to get back to that podium is Andreas Essner. Since he took the 3 podiums in the first 3 races of the season, he's only been back there once. He's desperate to get back on the podium. Let's see if he can do it here. Nicholas Kruten is next, our lead rookie. He is leading the rookie standings as well. He's on 118 points. Glenn van Berlo on 94 points, so looking to tie that up. Then we come to the aforementioned Manuel Maldonado. He's going to start in 5th place. This, I believe, his debut at this circuit. So getting up to speed with it very quickly indeed. Starts on the inside of row 3. Then we have Zayn Maloney. This a much-needed qualifying result for him. Another rookie rival Nicholas Kruten ahead of him, but he needs a good result after Spa and giving himself a good chance. No podium so far for Cameron Diaz. He's going to start 7th. Unusual, really. The reason I sound surprised is because his pace was fantastic at Spa. Everything went against him, though, and it was almost like a podium was just not meant to be. Next will be Sebastian Essner. Now, he was really, really quick in qualifying this morning. Qualified on the front row for race 3, so could be one to watch in this race. He will go off P8. Next along, we have Glenn van Berlo, one of the stars of the show at Spa, taking a podium from dead last on the grid. He starts in 9th place, and he's now the only driver to finish in the top 10 in every single race this season. Rui Andrade will be next. He got back in the points at Spa after a few races out of it. He starts in the points. Let's see if he can stay there after 18 laps. He rounds out our top 10. Louis Foster will be next, of course. We all remember seeing him at Spa, came into the championship, won on his first weekend. He's qualified 4th for the first race yesterday, starts P11 today. Let's see what he can do. Alexandre Bardignon getting up to speed. He's looking for his 4th point score of the season. Only needs to get 2 places to do it. He will go off P12. P13, Ido Cohen. He's got a little bit of work to do from there, has Ido Cohen, but I'm sure with Maloney up the field, he'll be confident. He's got the pace in that car, in the Carlin driver there, giving us the thumbs up. So let's look back at what happened at Spa. Well, what a hectic weekend it was. It started with Dunner and Yiffaye on the front row as they went in towards turn number 1. Lucas Dunner would lock up there. That would open the opportunity for Yiffaye to come and take the lead, which he eventually would do. These two would lock horns all weekend. There you can see Lucas Dunner just having a little bit of a lock-up. And it was a battle that would definitely make headlines. As Yiffaye came out of the last corner, he would be the one to take the first victory of the weekend. It was a much needed victory for him as well, having a few races without one. Second day, then we would go racing once again, and it would be Lucas Dunner and Yiffaye once again on the front row. Cameron Diaz in 3rd place there. He would make contact with Maloney, who would go off. He would go no further in that race, and that would bring out the safety car. Once we got going again, it would be Ye who would lead from Dunner out front, but the two would then come together down the Kemmel Straight. Yiffaye spinning round, Lucas Dunner picking up a puncture, and that would put Louis Foster into the lead, who was running in 3rd place and would open things up. He would go on to take the victory with Ido Cohen 2nd and Glenn van Berlo in 3rd place. Ye and Dunner once again on the front row in race number 3, once we'd all calmed ourselves down after a hectic race number 2. Cameron Diaz sitting there in 3rd place, had fantastic pace all weekend. Sadly, Louis Foster's chances of a double podium and double R of getting back on the podium would come to an end when the two drivers collided. That was when Cameron Diaz, unfortunately, his chances of a podium were quite literally taken away from his hands. Glenn van Berlo would be on the move. Nicholas Kruten ended on a high. He going head-to-head there with Ido Cohen. And out front, Lucas Dunner would take the final win of the weekend and his 5th win of the season. Race number 1 about to get underway here in Barcelona for Euroformula Open. Here's your grid. Yiffaye is going to start on pole position. Lucas Dunner alongside him on the front row. Row 2 is going to be the two Germans, Andreas Essner and Nicholas Kruten. row number 3, Manuel Maldonado for Team Motorpark. Zayn Maloney is going to start from P6. Cameron Diaz could be one to watch in 7th. Likewise, Sebastian Essner in 8th place. Glenn Van Berlo inside the top 10. Let's see if he can stay there. He starts 9th with Rui Andrade 10th. Louis Foster with nothing to lose. He starts 11th. Alexandre Bardignon will be in 12th place. Then it will be Ido Cohen and Rafael Villa-Gomez, one of 2 new entries for this weekend. The returning Matthias Luton starts in 15th place. Great to have Rafael Villa-Gomez with us, driving with the DriveX team, which Glenn Van Berlo drives for. The drivers have now set off around the 4.6 kilometre circuit. This their warm-up lap before we go racing for 18 laps. There you can see Nicholas Cruton starts in 4th place for this one. Was on a real good podium run between Red Bull Ring and Monza. Mugello 2/4, but then a little bit of drama for him at Spa. Ended on a positive though, ended with 10 points, which was a good way to end. A 5th place for him, 6th in race number 2, but race number 1, at the end of that, you would not want to remember. It was a collision with he and Maloney going into the final chicane. Took away his points scoring streak, as drivers now just making their way round turn number 10. This could be one of the places we see overtaking this weekend. I think we all know that single-seaters around Barcelona is a hard place to overtake. Qualifying always critical around here, as is the first lap. Get off to a good start, get yourself slotted into a good position, and from there you're giving yourself, if you're in the top 3 position after the first lap, you've got a very good chance to go and take a podium. If you're down the field, you've given yourself the complete opposite in trying to make positions. It is going to be tricky to overtake, I think we all know that, but Euroformula Open always tends to kick up some dramatic races, so let's see if this is going to be another. And we've got Yefeye in screen there, who could wrap up the title today. He leading his teammate Lucas Dunner up to the line. They will form the front row of the grid. They've done that a number of times now. It's a sight we're used to in this championship, and we will see them go off the front row once again. The top 4 on the grid, your top 4 in the championship as well. Andreas Essner 3rd, needs a podium really. Nicholas Cruton will want to get back there after he took 4 in a row in the middle part of the season. All eyes on the lights now. The green flag has been waved at the back of the grid. The lights are starting to come on here in Barcelona. Round number 7 of the Euroformula Open is underway, and a good start from Lucas Dunner. He could be challenging Yefeye going down towards turn number 1, and you can see the pair side by side. Lucas Dunner having to use the grass slightly. Maloney weaving in the background. He's trying to challenge Nicholas Cruton. Andreas Essner on the outside as we now go in towards turn number 1. Ye leads from Dunner. In 3rd place, that looks to be Nicholas Cruton. 2 drivers going off, unfortunately, just going to confirm who they are before mentioning, but we head now round turn number 3, and the 2 leaders are away, the 4 in fact, as they make their way now into the braking zone at turn number 4. Maloney sat there in 4th place behind Nicholas Cruton, who's in 5th. Then Maldonado is where he started in 5th. Van Berlo, the hard charger once again, he is up to 6th place. Then it's Cameron Diaz under pressure from Alexandre Bardignon, who's made a good start as they now head downhill towards turn number 9. It looks like the 2 brothers, Sebastian and Andreas Essner, were the 2 that ran wide at turn number 1, and they are now at the back of the field. Not sure if they are carrying any damage either, hopefully not, but sadly a bad start for both Andreas and Sebastian Essner, who started in 3rd and 8th respectively. Van Berlo weaving there, trying to get down the inside of Maldonado. There goes Louis Foster. That a good move from the British driver. He gets down the inside of Bardignon, and that is Louis Foster now up into 8th place, so already into the points. Next will be Cameron Diaz for him. There's Matthias Luton at the back of the field. Sebastian Essner and Andreas Essner in chase. Andreas coming off the worst. He's already 21 seconds back from the race leader as the drivers now making their way around the final corner and down the start-finish straight. Let's get the full order then. It's Ye, Dunner, Cruton, Maloney, Maldonado, Van Berlo, Diaz, Foster, Bardignon, Andrade, Cohen, Villa-Gomez, Luton, and then Sebastian and Andreas Essner. We've got one of the drivers coming in to the pits. That looks to be Sebastian Essner who is in. I'm not too sure if he's going to be followed in by Andreas Essner as well, as round turn 3 and up towards turn 4 go our leaders. And there you can see front wing damage for Sebastian Essner. So the Van Amersfoort Racing team are going to have to get working on that. And as soon as they're done with that one, they're going to have to simultaneously work on Andreas Essner's car, because he's coming in to the pits as well. I'm sure we'll see another look at it, but didn't quite see exactly how the pair came together, or if it were two separate incidents which has seen them go off simultaneously. But both Andreas and Sebastian Essner were off at turn 1. Andreas Essner, visibly, his car looks a little better, but that always tends to mean that there are bigger problems to it when you actually can't see the damage. Ido Cohen diving down the inside of Rui Andrade, has to back out of it in the end. Ido Cohen, an ambitious move there, left it late, and sensibly, I think, backed out of that one. He's running in 11th place so far. Our two leaders are escaping from the rest of the field. Cruton is running in 3rd, Maloney in 4th place. Maloney about 6-7 tenths back from Nicholas Cruton as they head down the start-finish straight now. This to complete lap number 2 of the race. Maldonado is slotted into 5th. Van Berlo is beginning to come under pressure in 6th place from the likes of Daz and Foster. Looking up towards the top of the screen, you can see the white and orange car of Van Berlo. Here it comes now, turning in towards turn number 1. That's Cameron Daz in the white and black number 28. Here's a look at the start. Dunner got a fantastic start to the left of your picture. Got away really well. Was already alongside Ye, but Ye had anticipated this, came across the circuit and did just enough there to block Lucas Dunner. Now in the background, we're looking for the black and orange coloured cars. Sebastian, I think, is to the outside. Andreas has run wide and has gone into Sebastian, and unfortunately that's where the damage has occurred. It must have been a brilliant start. They were 3 wide. It looked like it was Maloney on the inside with Andreas to his outside, but it looked like just 3 into 1 didn't go there. Didn't look like there was any malicious driving or any intentional contact. Just an unfortunate incident from what I could see. A brilliant start from Sebastian there. A real shame that he had suffered with some contact. There's Cameron Daz in the white and black, making his way now round the long right-hander. Cameron Daz running in 7th place. He's being chased by Louis Foster currently. The pair trying to go after Glenn Van Berlo. There is Glenn Van Berlo in your picture in the number 12. Yet again, a good start from him to move up from 9th to 6th place. So we complete lap number 3, and I'm going to bring in Elliot Wood now. Elliot, a hectic start to the race there. I don't know if you saw more than I did in that first corner incident. It looked like just slight contact has turned into significant damage, but a real shame.
Yeah, and I think the curbs that take you off track at those 2 corners don't help with kind of judging speed as well, because you have to avoid things, and it changes grip levels. I think Ye was very defensive on the start. We've seen that quite a few times this year when he's racing against his Crypto Tower Racing teammate Lucas Dunner. But he has kept the lead. It's ebbing and flowing between sectors. I think Lucas Dunner is a lot faster in sector 2, but Ye seems to have the advantage in the 1st and 3rd sectors, which is where you pretty much need to put the heat into the tyres.
He's got a gap of 1.3 seconds. He's just set the fastest lap as well. Cruton a further 2 seconds back. Then Maloney 1.8 back, so he's had a couple of bad laps, either that or he's had to defend from Maldonado. So we've got a battle for 4th now on our hands, and here it is in picture. In the blue and yellow colours there, that is Zayn Maloney. He's being chased by Maldonado, who we know will not be afraid to go onto the track when he sees a slight opportunity to. Van Berlo then leading the next queue. Here's Alexandre Bardignon in the orange and black. We briefly see him, and we briefly see him under attack from Andrade and Cohen. We go back now to the battle for 4th place, which is being led by Zayn Maloney. He makes his way down towards the chicane. This now on lap number 4 of the race. Maloney heading Maldonado as they now come onto the start-finish straight. Maldonado doing his best to look for an opportunity, but Maloney not budging so far.
Yeah, but it's a great start by all 3 of them. I think Maloney did a great launch as well. Van Amersfoort Racing, so many times this year, has qualified brilliantly, been very quick in free practice, very quick actually on opening laps of races, because it can get heat into the tyre with its setup. But, you know, on those opening laps, they're losing positions, and it's just another example of it not turning out for them. And that is a slow-moving car. That is actually one of the VAR cars as Yiffy Ye comes through to lap him. Lucas Dunner behind. Quite a gap now to Nicholas Scruton in third place as well, so he won't have to worry about Zayn Maloney and Manuel Maldonado. Now, a few times this year we have seen in the opening laps drivers weren't actually doing much battling, but we did see it late on because how the tyre life kind of evolves through the race. But because of the changing conditions here, I think the sun's almost in the middle of the sky. The track will be heating up considerably during this race. So I'm wondering if drivers like Maldonado, who's battling with Maloney right now, might regret it later on when the tyres, you know, don't quite have the same level of grip.
Something worth keeping in mind if he feels he can. Can be hard to, as a driver, to almost do that, because you've got to. You can see that you potentially are quicker and can make the move, but to then be patient is mentally, I'm sure, a difficult thing for a driver to do, because all you know is to go on the attack.
And no further action after an investigation into the turn 2 incident between the two Van Amersfoort teammates. It also makes it difficult in that it technically took place off track as well. So it's, you know, where are the boundaries there?
I mean, the contact sort of happened on track, but then obviously I think going off track, as you said, with the curbs, just made things worse. But that's what stops people from running over those runoffs too much. Here's Maloney, though, at the head of picture now, turning in towards turn number 1. So we've got a battle for 4th, and then we've got this battle for 6th. As much as we are saying Van Berlo's on the defensive, how's his lap times in comparison to Maloney and Maldonado, I wonder? Last time round he did a 1:38.4, so he's quicker than Maldonado ahead of him.
But he is slower than the two cars behind, Cameron Dass and Louis Foster.
So the Dass and Foster quicker than 3 drivers ahead of them now. Cameron Dass, you can see, getting closer all the time on Van Berlo. It's hard to overtake around here, though. We know that from watching all kinds of racing around here. It isn't easy. You've got to try and open up, and you've got to force a mistake. I think that's the key to overtaking around this circuit. There's a look at our leaders. We haven't seen them for a couple of laps now, but not much has changed. The gap is slightly upped. It's over 2 seconds now, but other than that, it's as you were, and Yiffy Ye is looking very comfortable out there, has a 62-point advantage after 3 race drops. If he finishes here, and that will extend, of course. Has he got the fastest lap? He has. So it will extend by a further 8 points, and it will go up to 70-point advantage, meaning he can wrap it up in the race later on.
Shall we try explaining the whole drop point system here?
Oh yeah, we went through it. Yeah, so it's, you know, your lowest 3 races get dropped at the end. If
there is a full schedule of 18 races, which we will expect provisionally, with only the 15th race of the season so far, the regulation technically says only 2 drop scores. Therefore, we have to wait for the other races to happen for the full regulation to come into play.
Obviously, this is, you know, this is with the lowest 3 as they are. So this is as it is with 3 drop scores. This is exactly how it looks, essentially. And of course, depending on results, drop scores could change, but that's our job to keep an eye on that for you, the viewers, so you can enjoy the racing and know exactly what is going on. Here is Maldonado in 5th place. He's on a good run so far, I'd say. He had a pretty decent run at Spa, 6th and a podium. A non-point score in the middle of the weekend wasn't the best for him, but he's shown some good pace. Ido Cohen had a really good weekend there, and that result for Cohen has brought him into this battle for 3rd in the championship. So Andreas Essner, one thing we haven't picked up on is that result for him to be down the back of the field could have huge consequences in the championship, because when his form dropped off after the first 2 rounds, he's slowly been dropping into the clutches of those behind. Andreas Essner only has 11 points over Scruton. Scruton is up in 3rd place. That's going to score him 15 points. Andreas Essner will score no points, meaning Scruton will move to 3rd in the championship. Cohen, he won't score any points, so he'll stay 26 behind. But Maldonado will, and he'll score quite a few. In 5th place, he'll score 10, meaning he will go past Cohen in the championship, and he will bring the gap to Essner down from 28 to 18 points. So lots happening in the championship. That battle for third particularly good, but this would be a particularly good day for Cruton if he could stay third, because he will not only take yet another podium this season, his 5th, but he will also move to third in the standings potentially as well. So this very good stuff from Nicholas Cruton.
And our lead gap has actually just come down by just over a tenth of a second. Lucas Dunner taking a tenth out of Yiffy 2.353 seconds now. He's another 0.023 seconds faster in the first sector of this lap. But, you know, with a 2-second margin at the moment, he's not close enough to even attempt to move. Where do you think the main overtaking places are on this lap in a single-seater car?
Turn 10, turn 1, and yeah, that's it really. Yeah, turn 10 and turn 1, I'd say.
I'm thinking turn 14, 15 chicane.
I mean, yeah, you've got to be brave to do it. You risk damage, but that is one. Now, just looking back to the scores, by the way, Andreas Essner with a no score here. His actual points tally with drop scores goes up. Surprisingly, it goes up to 137, but that leaves Cruton at 13 behind, and that means he will go 2 points ahead with this result. So a change for third in the standings potentially coming up. A potential champion to be wrapped up later on as well, should things stay good for Yiffy. Right, let's get back to what's actually going on track. Sorry if we're confusing you with these drop scores a little bit, but Maloney is sitting in 4th place, Maldonado in 5th, Van Berlo 6th, and things are starting to change a little bit now. I'd say the pace is starting to be upped, albeit at the front. As Maloney is upping his pace, Maldonado sort of going with him. I'd say Van Berlo is beginning to open a bit of a gap to Cameron Daz as well, who likewise has a bit of a gap over Foster. In the background, then we've got, 5.5 seconds back, then we've got Andrade, who is under pressure from Ido Cohen. We're approaching half race distance now, 8 completed. Once we complete 9, that'll be half race distance in race number 1. 4 races coming up for the guys this weekend as we end the championship here in Barcelona.
And doing a decent job so far is our 2 debutant racers, Rafael Villagomez with Drive at School and Matthias Luton with Double R Racing. They're currently in 12th and 13th. I think they were actually kind of battling side by side through the opening laps. There's a little bit of a gap between them now, but they're putting in very consistent lap times. And this is their first time in this car, you know, doing race run. So it's impressive performance by them. They've stayed out of trouble, unlike the 2 Van Amersfoort racing cars at the back. Potentially they could score points, because Villa Gomez is only 1.3 seconds behind Alexander Bardignon in 11th, who is similarly only 1.1 second behind Ido Cohen in 10th.
On to the start-finish straight. Maloney in this queue, leading Maldonado. We're now at half race distance. Yiffy, well, his gap is 2.8 seconds. Just under 4 then for, just under 5 then back to Nicholas Cruton. And then this is where we find the battle for 4th place. Here's a look at a replay coming through the chicane. You've got to be careful over the curbs. I mean, you've got to take the smaller part of them, but any more than that, and you do risk a bit of damage and a lot of time lost as well. Tricky part of the circuit to navigate in these cars, but it was developed to keep them closer together. As we now look at our 2nd place driver, Lucas Dunner, heading up towards turn number 9. Here's our leader, Yiffy, and kind of back to usual form now. It was, I guess, a couple of races. He didn't win a race in 4 races over Monza and Mugello. Well, then once he won again at Spa, he's been back to what we used to seeing. I mean, of course, the incident in race 2 was the incident in race 2, but he took a podium after that, and now he's taken 3 poles. Yeah, and Barcelona is not his favourite circuit at all. In the Formula Renault Euro Cup title battle in 2018, poor results here, kind of put him out of tight contention. Then in FIA Formula 3, he didn't have much fun here either in his first Euro Cup season as well. I think his best finish here is 6th place, potentially in this first race he ever did at this circuit. Yeah, in the last 3 seasons he's been here, he's had really bad results as Yiffy, but he's looking to turn that round here, and This won't be the first title he wins and wins convincingly. You know, French F4, 14 wins in 23 races. So that was back in 2016. So when he wins a title, he tends to do it convincingly. Have we had an investigation come?
I'm wondering, yeah, Andreas Essner's under investigation for not rejoining the track before the bollard at turn 2. Now, we see this across many racing series where this is applied, most often on lap 1. And in this case, you can see why, because, you know, both of them went off slightly before turn 2. But equally, you know, they had contact. I think
that would be rubbing salt in the wound if he were to get a penalty there. It would be pointless, wouldn't it? Because he's that far down. I'd say they'll take a blind eye to that one.
And we're following the battle for, well, I think it's 4th place, but it's running all the way down to Cameron Das in 7th. And Louis Foster's closing right in onto the rear of that now. Only a third of a second between him and Das. I think this is a train with cards. I didn't actually get to ask any of the drivers how powerful the slipstream is here. And because we've been running in colder conditions and the Thursday test and Friday free practice, you know, it's evolved compared to the races as well. So potentially, I'm thinking it might be 6/10 because at Spa it was 1 second, and that was a considerably longer straight than here. So I imagine you're going to have to need a smaller gap to get the full power of this very aero, sleek Dallara 320.
I'd say you're going to need a mistake to add to that as well. Maloney's doing a very good job at the moment, I have to say. He's pulled a gap now to Maldonado, which sits at 1.6 seconds. It's either he's doing a good job or Maldonado's struggling. Personally, I'd say it's a little bit of both. I'd say he's got his foot down and Maldonado simultaneously is losing a little bit of time. I wonder if that's what we were referring to earlier when Maldonado was aggressively attacking Maloney. Has he taken a little bit too much life out of his tyres, and is he now going to be in danger of losing positions to Berlo, Das and potentially Foster as well? This is our main focus now on track, and it's between the battle for 5th place in the race. Maldonado, Berlo, Das, Foster in that order.
That's personal best first sector from Glenn Berlo in 6th. He's kind of sandwiched in between cars here. Pretty difficult to actually improve because the dirty air caused by the car in front, especially in the end of the first sector and through the middle sector, is really going to prevent you from, you know, hitting your braking points perfectly, getting your ideal line into the corner if you know there's going to be a car on the apex ahead of you already. But these drivers have kept it clean so far, so, you know, good job by them.
Cameron Das hasn't found an opening yet in 7th. He's been patient there. He's been constantly putting pressure on Berlo. He's had pressure of his own to deal with from Louis Foster, but so far hasn't found an opening. And sometimes it's just about being patient here around this circuit. At the start-finish straight we go. We're now heading in towards the final third of this race, and Berlo now under significant pressure here from Cameron Das. Not close enough to make a move though. So they can get close down that start-finish straight, but they just can't get close enough. And then this section just loses you a lot of time when you're in behind the driver. Now that long, fast right-hander is going to lose you a lot of time, as will this one, and then the left-hander coming up after it as well. And that's what spreads the cars out before we then go into the final section where you get a chance to close back in. Teams watching on there, we can see Berlo turning into the left-hander at turn 9, the 18-year-old. Came out of karting last year, went into the Spanish F4 Championship, took 3 wins and 5 podiums. Had a good season. Oh, here we go. Here's a lunge. Louis Foster down the inside of Cameron Das. What a move from Louis Foster there. Came out of nowhere, and Louis Foster takes 7th place away from the American. Caught him out, caught me out, and I think caught a lot of you viewers out as well. Left it very late, but Louis Foster down the inside of Cameron Das, and that a brilliant move. We've got a penalty for Andreas Essner. Well, I guess the rules are the rules, but it's not going to make a blind bit of difference to where he finishes. He's down in 15th place after a pit stop. But great move that from Louis Foster. Hopefully we'll get to see that one again, but that's put him now into 7th place. You can see the time it loses you, but Louis Foster with a bit of clear air ahead of him now to go after and chase Glenn van Berlo. And now we can see it can be done down at turn 9. You've just got to be brave and take a bit of a risk, I guess. But Louis Foster timed that one perfectly as he now heads down towards turn number 4. The gap now to Van Berlo is 1.3 seconds. He's got 5 laps to do this, just under, in fact. But there you can see the time he's been taking out of him. 2/3 a lap. It's doable. It's definitely doable as we look back to our leader, Yifei, who now has a gap of 3.7 seconds as he makes his way now out of turn number 9. Great stuff this from Louis Foster, 17 years old, doing a really good job.
And he's got 4 race weekends in a row, I think. He had Spa-Francorchamps 2 weeks ago, Euroformula debut. Then he had BRDC British F3 at Donington Park National. Back to Barcelona here this week, Euroformula. Then to a very cold Silverstone next week for the BRDC British Formula 3 title decider. And then I think he might have a week off after that, if he's lucky.
Maybe. He probably actually wouldn't want one. I'm sure drivers would just want to keep racing. That's Lucas Dunner we were seeing, by the way, in the purple colour 69 car. Here he is in picture now, Lucas Dunner. Good season for him. I mean, if he'd done all the rounds, then I'm sure he and Yifei would be neck and neck coming into this weekend. But FIA F3 commitments just mean that couldn't happen. So he missed out on second by, I think it was a single point last year, finishing 3rd behind Liam Lawson. It's going to be one better this year, and I think given the rounds he's done, it's the best he could have done, so I'm sure that will feel as good as a win.
Post-season, I'm hopefully going to do a feature on basically take all the race data, all the qualifying data, all the practice data, put Ye against Dunner in every single session and see just how close were they at every circuit, and possibly in every corner as well, if I can get the telemetry from the team potentially.
I mean, coming into this weekend, Ye had led 134 laps, and Lucas Dunner 76.
That's a lot of laps.
That's a lot of laps, given, you know, and in terms of the heads-to-heads, 7 wins to 5, 3 apiece in seconds, 2/3 to Lucas Dunner's 1. Ye wins, of course, in fastest laps and poles. He's done more races, but you know, he's over half of what Ye has done. So in terms of laps in the lead, so brilliant stuff. I mean, you look at laps in the lead, and you know, other than that, it's only Andreas Essner and Louis Foster who've actually got into the lead of the race. That's how dominant these two guys have been, which is why I think if we had done it here every round, every race, then this would be a real title fight between these two.
Yeah, and then both of them have been lapping consistently in the 1:37 throughout this race. In qualifying this morning, we saw 1:35s, 1:36s, normally in the colder temperatures. But no other driver in this race has even broken into the 1:37s, and they've been lapping at it pretty much every single lap. Now
we have to go to the battle for both 3rd and for 6th as well, because Zayn Maloney is starting to take time now out of Nicholas Cruton. The gap looks a lot smaller than what it was before. It's down to 1.1 seconds, make that 9/10 of a second. And here is Louis Foster. He was once 1.3 back from Glenn van Berlo. He's now only 8/10. He closed in by 4 last time round. That is lower than 8/10 now. Here they come into picture. It's 4/10 between the pair as they now make their way down towards turn number 8. Down through 7. Now ahead, back uphill now through 8 and up to 9. Louis Foster downhill into the left at T10. That's where he likes to make his moves, clearly. Let's see if he can do another. He's not going to be close enough to Glenn van Berlo this time. But Glenn van Berlo will have no idea on the move he just made on Cameron Daz.
At the front of the field, we're now seeing personal bests in the first sector, actually from Zayn Maloney and Louis Foster as well. So potentially the tyres have kind of gone through one heat cycle, although normally you'd have to cool them down to go for a heat cycle. So forget that. At some point they've gone for a later stage in life that they're now getting to a higher speed, and potentially the track's just kind of getting grippier as well.
Onto the start finish straight. Maloney after the Spa round he had, I'm sure he will be willing to do anything he can to take that podium. But this is where the next change is going to come. It's going to be for 6th place. Foster on Van Berlo. Foster in the number 26 there. Started this race 11th on the grid. He's made his way up to 7th already. Can he get himself a 6th place finish to start the weekend? He qualified on the 2nd row for race number 3, which will be tomorrow morning. And for the 2nd race, a little bit later on, he will start from 10th on the grid. So he's found pace overnight, and Louis Foster executing that now to try and get himself further up the grid, as he's now in chase here of Glenn Van Berlo as they make their way down towards turn number 7. Can he make a move going down towards turn number 10? Team watching on there. Sure, they've been happy with what they've seen from Louis Foster. There they are in the top of picture. Don't think he's going to be close enough here to make a move as they come to the braking zone, or is he? He's going to feel the mirrors there of Van Berlo, but can't quite. Well, that would have had Van Berlo nervous, but he couldn't quite make the move. Trying to force a mistake now, perhaps, but he's going to have one more lap to try and do it. We're about to come onto the final lap of the race. He crosses the line. He's got a gap now of over 4 seconds over Lucas Dunner, and Ye is on track to take his 8th win of the season as he now turns his way in towards turn number 1. This will extend his lead in the championship, a win by a further 7 points. The point for fastest lap brings it up to 8 points, and that will give his advantage in terms of drop scores. That'll bring it up to a gap of 70, meaning he could wrap the title up in the 2nd race later, as he now heads downhill through the hairpin at turn 5. In the background, of course, Maloney still pressurizing Nicholas Cruton. Foster likewise trying to put the pressure on Van Berlo. We see if either of them are able to make any moves as Ye now makes his way through turn number 9 and downhill towards turn 10. Flawless performance from him so far. He was put under pressure from Lucas Dunner on the 1st lap. Lucas Dunner getting an absolutely lightning start, and there he is in picture. But Ye came across the track, and Dunner had to take 2 wheels to the grass. That handed Ye the lead going in towards turn number 1. Other than that, it's been flawless from Ye. Lights the flag, win, and he's going to come out of the final corner and now make his way down the start-finish straight. And Ye is going to take his 8th win of the season and put one hand firmly on the title as he comes across the line, finishing in 2nd place. Lucas Dunner, his 4th 2nd place finish of the season as he crosses the line. I don't know what's happened to Louis Foster, but he's actually dropped back. Daz has gone up to 7th place, but on the podium for the 5th time this season, Nicholas Cruton crosses the line to get himself on the podium and into 3rd place in the championship. A much needed 4th place for Zayn Maloney. The last time he finished 4th was back at Monza. A great result from the driver from Barbados. Maldonado finishing in 5th place. Van Berlo, a good performance from him. We've got a car in the pits, but Van Berlo finishes in 6th. It's Essner who came into the pits, having been a lap down. Cameron Daz finishes in 7th place. Foster in 8th, not too sure what happened to him on the final lap. Andrade in 9th place. Cohen in 10th. Bardignon in 11th. And then we had Villa Gomez, Matthias Luton, Sebastian Essner, Andreas Essner coming into the pits on the final lap. But Ye takes yet another win, and he is also close now to taking the title. Doing it, he will follow in the footsteps of the likes of Sandy Stuvik, Vitor Baptista, Leonardo Pulcini, Harrison Scott, Felipe Drugovich, and will keep the title in Asia with Marino Sato, World Championship last year. Here is the results then. Ye winning from Dunner, gap of just under 5 seconds in the end, and some 16 seconds. How impressive is that from Ye? 16 seconds ahead of Nicholas Cruton, who did well to hold off the pressure of Zayn Maloney in the final stages of the race to take 3rd, Maloney 4th. Maldonado, a solid performance from him, finishes where he started in 5th. Van Berlo up from 9th to 6th. Daz finishes in 7th place. Foster 8th, and Andrade, Cohen round out your top 10. Bardignon, Villa Gomez, Luton, and then sadly it's Sebastian and Andreas Essner after an incident on the 1st lap. They finished down the field. So this is before drop scores. This is what it does to the overall standings. Dunner, Cruton now up to third ahead of Essner, Maldonado, fifth place, Cohen, Maloney, Daz, Van Berlo to ninth there, Sebastian Essner, 10th place. Sebastian Essner with a good chance to score big points, particularly tomorrow when he starts on the front row. Another brilliant performance from Yefeye, pretty much repeating what he did back in the French F4 Championship. Here's the moment he came across the line to take victory. That French F4 title, as we said, was 14 wins out of 23 races. And Ye has now taken 8 wins so far this season in 15 races. Fantastic stuff from him as he now comes into the pit lane. Joined on the podium once again by Lucas Dunner. Nicholas Cruton back onto the podium for the first time since Monza. He was third in every race there, following on from his third at the Red Bull Ring, and he will feel very good to be back on the podium, having missed out on it in dramatic circumstances at Spa on the final lap in race 1. So a good start to the weekend for Cruton, who starts on P6 for the second race a little bit later on. A rookie win as well puts him closer to the rookie title. He currently leads that. He did lead that coming into this race by 24 points. That will go up even further now, with Maloney finishing second place in the rookies and Berlo third in the rookies. Celebrations for Crypto Tower Racing. Congratulations there from Nicholas Cruton. It's one of 4 races we got this weekend, 3 more coming up. Next one will be this afternoon, 4:05 local time here in Spain. We'll have the second race and then 2 more tomorrow, plus our 4th qualifying session of the weekend tomorrow morning, which will be the first thing out on track here in Barcelona. Podium celebrations to come though. We'll hear from our winner very shortly as well, Yefeye getting ready to be interviewed. So let's remind you of the top 3 before we do that. Nicholas Cruton, a rookie win for him, and he takes his 5th podium of the season, finishing in second place. Lucas Dunner on the podium once again. He hasn't finished off it so far, and he finishes in second place. And Yefeye, another win for him. It's his 8th win of the season, and he now very, very close to winning the 2020 title.
Yefeye, winner. Barcelona race 1, and one step forward towards the main goal.
Yeah, absolutely. Very happy with the outcome of the race. The start was really close between me and Lucas, but yeah, I managed to hold on to the lead in turn 1, and from there onwards, I was beating up my rhythm. I was saving the tires somehow in the first half of the race, and when I see that he cannot keep up with me anymore, then I just push a bit, and then I pull up a very good gap at the end. So very happy about the result.
So we have just a job to finish.
Yeah, there's still one race this afternoon and 1 qualifying, 2 more races tomorrow. So my goal is to for sure get P1 in all of those sessions if possible.
Well done.
Thank you.
Enjoy the moment.
Thank you.
Great to hear from Yefeye. Let's take a look back at the highlights then from the race as we got underway. And Lucas Dunner got a brilliant start to the race. Yeah, he was just about able to get his elbows out and hold on to that race. Sadly, Andreas and Sebastian Essner would make contact coming in towards turn number 1. Here we can see Sebastian Essner on the outside trying to turn into the corner. Andreas, having been run wide there, had nowhere to go but in towards his brother, and sadly that would effectively be the race over for the 2 who would finish 14th and 15th at the end. There would be some great moves from Louis Foster. That was the first of them on the very first lap on Alexandre Bardignon. This perhaps the best one though, diving down the inside of Cameron Daz, just about getting the car stopped in time. And Louis Foster, don't know what happened to him on the last lap though. He would drop back to 8th place after attacking Van Berlo for 6th. Lucas Dunner just couldn't keep up with his teammate no matter what he tried. as we mentioned there. Here was, this might be where Louis Foster, that was him trying to dive down the inside of Van Berlo, wouldn't be able to get through, but he got his foot down out front, did Yeffier, and in the end, he would lead his teammate to the line by 4.8 seconds to get himself within just one race here now of winning the 2020 Euroformula Open title. A 1-2 for the Crypto Tower Racing team. Great result once again, and they would be joined on the podium by Nicholas Cruton. So podium now ready, and we will have our anthems very shortly. Great stuff, our Euroformula Open podium for race 1 of round 7. Yeffier in the middle of picture there, just to his left-hand side, looking at picture. There you can see Lucas Dunner, and to our right-hand side of picture, that's Nicholas Cruton, and then member from Crypto Tower Racing teammate on our far left. It's a similar podium to what we were seeing back at Monza. Ye, Dunner and Cruton. They shared the podium twice, with Dunner winning on those occasions. But that's race 1 of 4 done so far this weekend. Come back and join us for race number 2, which will take place at 4:05 local time here in Spain. Until then, it's goodbye.